Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to DiscussionVerse. Today I'm tackling a ridiculous myth that just won't die. The so-called superhero fatigue myth. You know, the idea that audiences are totally over superhero movies and shows, that we're all burnt out and ready to move on. Well, guess what? That argument never held any water. Not then, not now, and definitely not with everything hitting screens in 2025 and beyond.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
In fact, if anything, superhero stories are far more vibrant and diverse than ever, proving that the genre is far from fading away. So buckle up and let me break down why superhero fatigue is basically a myth. It's essentially another buzzword that's being used as an easy bandwagon for fans and audiences alike, since we all know negativity is easy to get behind. Before I do, this is your friendly reminder to be sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel, then turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Ultimately, the goal is to get 1,000 subscribers, and while the channel is doing great and growing, it still needs your guys' help, so be sure to tell everyone and anyone that you know to look for the channel and show their support. And if you don't, you're just proving to be one of them bandwagon haters and are just absolutely chicks in real life. For real. Anyway, let's get right into this. So here's the thing. The superhero fatigue narrative has been floated around for years, and every time there's a perceived dip in box office or a movie gets a mixed review, everyone just straight loses their minds. Though this is really not fatigue, it's more so that there's bad movies that turn people off, and that's true for literally every genre that there is. From horror, comedy, sci-fi, they all have hits and misses, though ironically enough, superhero movies just happen to get more spotlight because of the cultural weight and their popularity, but that invites far more critique, which tend to be quite unwarranted and more so biased than most other reviews. It's a mindset recycled by fans and critics alike, and even some Hollywood heavyweights like Martin Scorsese, who basically acts like superhero movies and content are beneath them. And honestly, it comes off as pompous and out of touch. Instead of celebrating the creativity, the sheer scale, and the joy these films bring millions worldwide, and also the connectivity, they dismiss the genre like it's some lesser art form. Newsflash, not every movie needs to be an Oscar contender in order for it to be meaningful or successful and resonate with audiences across the board. These films bring diverse storytelling, groundbreaking visuals, and beloved characters to life in ways that connect deeply with audiences and fans from various age ranges at that. To knock them just because they're popular or mainstream is petty and short-sighted. And what's even worse is that this negativity often trickles down, poisoning fan enthusiasm and overshadowing the very real artistic achievements happening in these movies and shows. And it's also funny because we see a lot of content creators, specifically here on YouTube, that tend to make videos cashing in on this very narrative. Not only is that insanely lazy, but there is absolutely no merit in such a critique, especially when it comes to a bad movie, since, like I said earlier, there are such things as bad movies in any of these genres. It's just a matter of actually saying it and owning up to it, instead of putting an easy buzzword that's able to be perpetualized and radicalized with the fan base and haters alike, and just kind of become really irrational, honestly. Just like other directors and writers should be supporting their fellow filmmakers, no matter the genre, because innovation and passion happens everywhere, audiences and fans alike should be able to give proper criticism and not just shit on something because of a trivial reason and make that into something that usually ends up popularized in a negative way and ultimately is detrimental to the franchise and property itself. So really, we got to do better overall, especially us as fans. I mean, just look at the content that we have been receiving recently, starting with Thunderbolts, which is arguably one of the more freshest takes in the MCU's current lineup, offering a darker, more morally complex twist on a superhero team formula. Along with this, Thunderbolts handles the primary underlining theme of the movie, which is mental health, particularly focusing on healing from trauma and navigating the challenges of depression, anxiety, and loneliness, because it's really a never easy road, and a lot of us can truly relate with that. And then with Disney Plus and TV, we had Daredevil Born Again, which was definitely a return to form, and this brought back gritty realism and complex character work, blending crime drama with superhero elements in a way that felt fresh and mature. Ironheart was also a great show, which introduced a young tech-savvy hero wrestling with legacy and identity while also broadening the magic realm of all things. And it was a cool thing to see magic and technology combined in a way that wasn't done before. And of course, we got the reveal of a character that's been long wanted within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So on the TV side of things are absolutely going well. From here, we were then given the Fantastic Four First Steps, which brought everything home, as this series is a bold reinvention of a franchise that previously stumbled under inconsistent writing and lackluster effect. The movie is truly a return to form and finally gives us our deserved iteration of the beloved Fantastic Four family. Reed Richards' brilliant but socially awkward scientific mind is well explored. Sue Storm's invisibility and force field powers showcase versatility in her abilities, while she also serves serves as the connective tissue between the four. And of course, we get Johnny Storm's fiery personality, adding humor and heart with great powers shown on screen, and I love the effects of his fire abilities. We also had Ben Grimm's awesome version of The Thing, and just looked beautiful on screen, and I really love that his character was done justice in grounding the story emotionally, and also exploring themes of acceptance and being an anchor to the family. We cannot forget the DC side of things, as 2025 Superman is truly one of the most definitive comic book movies of all time. The film is a truly reimagined icon for modern audiences, and the reboot itself just does well on all fronts. The movie itself is a grounded, heartfelt take that resonates deeply with fans old and new, and I for one think it's absolutely the best movie of 2025 so far. And while The Batman wasn't a recent movie, it still counts, and it was an absolute box office hit. Not only this, but the movie is a gritty noir masterpiece that redefined what it means to be a reboot. Not only does this version of The Batman have peak visuals, but it offers us a different take on the character and giving us a far more psychological, darker version of Batman, and giving us areas that we haven't seen before on screen. So it was really well regarded. The success of The Batman led to the spin-off with The Penguin on HBO starring Colin Farrell, and that series on its own was really well regarded and praised high by critics. From there, DC also has Peacemaker Season 1 being a well-received show, and Season 2 already greenlit and nearing a release date later this August. And while we're here in the DC corner, we do know that The Batman Part 2 is nearing its production start date in January 2026, with the script just recently completed and turned in by Matt Reeves, according to James Gunn. We also are then getting the Lantern show on HBO, which is going to be focusing on Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan respectively, and an overarching story that is going to be more interconnected for the DC universe. That is equally just as exciting, since we may get a late 2025 release or early 2026 release. With how amazing Superman was, it's safe to say that Lanterns will be just as amazing in spectacle and story. Not only this, but we currently know that Spider-Man Brand New Day is in production, and that is a perfect example of how the genre continues to evolve and excite fans worldwide. Recently, the internet exploded with leaks and set photos that gave us a fresh look at Peter Parker's redesigned suit. It's sleeker with a modern aesthetic that balances classic Spider-Man elements with a new tech-forward vibe, and has raised webbing, plus that same aesthetic honors Tobey and Andrew's versions of Spidey respectively. The film is going to be following Peter as he is on his own after the events of No Way Home, and still adjusting to everyone forgetting who he is and only remembering Spidey and Spidey alone. The cast confirmations are also equally exciting, as we know Jon Bernthal is confirmed to reprise his role as the Punisher, a character that was also seen in Daredevil Born Again, which ties the MCU shows and movies closer than ever before. Plus, we know that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is back and gonna be a big contender in this movie, and most recently we were able to find out that Michael Mando's Matt Gargan is returning. We all remember him from Spider-Man Homecoming, and fans have been long wanting him to take up his respective role as Scorpion as he does in the comic. So it's exciting to see that he is going to be a villain for this movie, and possibly a reoccurring villain for the MCU Spider-Man. But wait, there's more. We have confirmation that Marvel is giving the Punisher his own Disney Plus special presentation, just like they did with Werewolf by Night, as this is going to be a 1 to 2 hour standalone that will focus on the Punisher's role in the MCU timeline and expand on his connections overall with the Marvel canon. This is really huge for fans craving more Punisher and more grounded, intense stories amid the blockbuster spectacles. This goes to show how the phrase and term superhero fatigue is less about audience exhaustion and more so about the content quality of the movie or TV project being released. As so, franchises are now learning from their past mistakes and seem to be providing more quality content for beloved characters from their respective franchises. As I see it, we are far from fatigued. The truth is, superhero movies and shows have been evolving. We're seeing far more diverse characters, complex villains, and stories that are reflecting real-world issues, identity struggles, and moral ambiguity. Things the older, more black and white superhero fare rarely touched. When people complain about fatigue, this is a clear response to the movie or show's overall quality, not the genre's vitality. So it's important to make that distinction and understand that going forward. Hopefully those of you watching at home have gained a new perspective and can take something away from this video, unless of course I've just been speaking into the void. That does wrap up my thoughts for this video, and as always, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel, then turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.